We've got an amazing Wonderkid to show you today, a player that starts off without the world's biggest price tag, has great ability straight away, loads of potential and will be in all of your guys' saves. This man is incredibly good, and when you develop him right, as we're going to show you how to in this video, he can go on to be world class. Hello everyone, Jake here. Welcome to another episode of Wonderkid to Superstar, where we show you Wonderkids on the highest end of their potential range to show you what you might be able to get if you pick them up in your save. Now today's player is a very special one, someone I'm super surprised we haven't done a video on yet. Like I say, isn't the most expensive, starts off with brilliant ability straight away for top level clubs and can go on to get even better than what he starts off with. So I won't beat around the bush, we'll get straight into it, but first if you could smash the like button for us to show us your support, we'd massively appreciate it here on the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and with that being said, let's go check this player out, and to do so we need to head over to Portugal. We're going to be heading to one of the biggest sides in the nation, FC Porto, a team that is stacked with Wonderkids as the Portuguese division as a whole is, and we're going to go straight to their senior squad, and in there, if we sort by age, even without having the Portuguese division loaded, you will see a 19-year-old midfielder by the name of Vasco Souza. Now straight away you'll see he's got some great attributes and doesn't look the most pricey player in the world, but I'm going to break down a few more things that you should know about this player before we carry on with the video. First of all, his potential range for those interested is 140 to 170. When you start up a save, a dice is rolled and this player's potential will fall somewhere within that range. If it's on the higher end, you will get an elite level player, and even if it is on the lower end and you develop him well, you're still going to get a top level talent. But something that I want to point out is I've loaded up a few saves and his transfer valuation can vary. I would say this is the most expensive I've ever seen him. I've had some saves where he's valued at 2.5 million and Porto would accept that. I think it all depends on where his potential falls when you start a save, but straight away he has got tons of ability and can play a few different positions. Now I'm going to show you my favourite role for him later in the video. We'll get onto that in a little bit, but if we take a look at this guy, physically he's only 5'5", he's got 6 jumping reach and 8 strength. He's not someone that's going to be a powerful presence in your team, but he's quick, he's agile, and he's got great balance, and these attributes are only going to get better with time, but physicals are certainly not his strongest aspect. His mentals are fairly good though, nice composure, decision making, the flair is very high, the vision is at 15 already, he's got decent determination, and because he's got such a nice base set of mental attributes, nothing really lacking too much, you can really develop him from there, but it's his technicals where he shines with 14 technique, 15 passing, combine that with a 15 vision, he's a great playmaker. On top of that, you've got 14 first touch and 14 dribbling with good finishing ability and crossing ability also. There's a lot going for Vasco Souza straight away, but he's only going to get better in a simulation. I'm going to show you how you can take him right to the very top. To do that, I've brought him over to our Real Madrid team, and you'll see that I'm going to be playing him in a shadow striker role. Now, I'll explain why that is first and foremost before we get into any further details about how to train him and develop him, but yes, he can play central midfield naturally. He can also play attacking midfield. Now, there's a few options here. Certainly, you're not going to want to use him in any kind of defensive capability. The positioning isn't very strong. The tackling's not great. So maybe a playmaker type, maybe a Mozala type in central midfield would be useful. Because of his kind of diminutive presence, he's not the biggest, he's not the tallest. I think he's going to be bypassed quite easily in that midfield. He's not particularly quick either. I feel like we want to play him further forward to get the best out of his creative elements without worrying too much about the lack of defensive responsibility that he does have. And from there, you've got a few choices. He could be an advanced playmaker, and arguably that might be where he's best, but I love a shadow striker. His finishing's already at 11, and I think with some development we can certainly get that higher. Combine that with a passing ability, this is someone that's going to be right alongside our striker, creating chances and scoring goals. And to do that, we are training him on that shadow striker role. In these simulations, I don't do an additional focus to keep it fair with every player, but for you guys, I'd certainly be looking at maybe his finishing if you are looking to bring him into this shadow striker role. Alternatively, you might want to get his anticipation and his decision making up, which you can work on with the attacking movement additional focus. But obviously the kind of training you go for will depend on what kind of role you're planning to use him in. He's being mentored by Modric and also Benzema here, so hopefully their personalities can rub off on Vasco Souza and he can turn into a great player. But first and foremost, we'll simulate a few years ahead and see what he might look like on the worst end of his potential range. Okay, so it's 2025 now. Vasco's been at our team for 3 seasons, playing in that shadow striker role as often as possible, and he's now at the lowest end of that potential range, so about 140. So in the worst case scenario, this is the kind of player Vasco can become. At this point, he's 22, he's valued at about £30 million, which shows you that he's definitely worth that initial investment, even if you do have to pay £5 million or so for the player. Physically, he started to develop a lot with great stamina, pace, agility, and balance, but really it's the other areas where his growth is the most impressive, with 17 vision, 16 passing, and 15 technique. He's got the composure, the decision making, the anticipation, combined with great first touch dribbling ability, and his finishing is also starting to improve. He is becoming a top level talent, and he's someone that you should definitely scout. He'll likely get some chances at Porto, and if he plays well, it could be a good time for you to go out and try and sign him. But if we have a look at his performances so far, first year he goes in, gets 12 goals and 15 assists after only 34 games at the age of 19, which is very impressive. Then, for some reason, doesn't play in season 2. I assume he wasn't registered. But after that, he did get registered, plays 38 games, gets 13 goals and 13 assists for 26 goal contributions and a 7.38 average match rating. When he does play, he plays at an extremely high level. He's getting great average match ratings, but of course, this is only him at his worst. So let's check him out at his best. So we've gone all the way to 2032 to look at him in the prime of his career. So let's go check him out, and you'll see straight away, if we sort by ability, there is Tchouaméni, there's Rodrigo, there's Vinicius Jr., but above them all is Vasco Souza, valued at £95 million now, and his attributes have got to a phenomenal level, and there's so much to break down with him. But before we do, I will just take a second to let you know that I do have my own channel linked in the description, where we're doing an FC Porto rebuild very soon. I believe it'll be coming out tomorrow once this video goes out, and I'd really appreciate the support over there as we get very, very close to my goal of 20,000 subscribers. Thank you to anyone who does that. But yes, Vasco Souza, 4.5-star player, £95 million, 29 years of age, 23 appearances for Portugal with 3 goals. Clearly they're not using him in the goal scoring role the way we are, but let's take a look at these attributes. Physically, he's really started to excel now with 17 agility, 16 acceleration, he's got pace, and he's got stamina. Even his strength has got better over time, and he's developed some very nice player traits too. But of course, it's his mentals and his technicals where he really begins to shine. The composure is great, but the concentration, the decision making, the off the ball work, and by far and away the best attribute that Vasco has is his vision, where he is going to be able to create chances that nobody else in world football could probably see. 16 passing, 16 technique, combine that with a vision, he is the ultimate playmaker. Is that the only string to his game though? No, he has 17 first touch, 14 finishing, 15 dribbling. This man can pass, he can shoot, he can create, he's quick, he's agile, he's mentally strong. He is on another level compared to some players that we've looked at previously, and it's because of those really strong starting attributes that he does have. And you can see his performances in this simulation have been exceptional. 1 year, getting 22 goals and 27 assists in only 38 games. It's been an incredible run of form, but I do actually have a simulation at the end of his career. I say at the end of his career, he's 32 here and could definitely still do a lot more in the time that he has at Real Madrid, but we're going to end our simulation there, and those numbers are incredible. I mean, he's hitting 30 goal contributions a season pretty much every single year, and it really does showcase the kind of player he is, that he's scoring goals and creating goals at an equal level. And any time that he's played in our team, he's had incredible average match ratings, and he's became one of the world's best midfielders probably to ever have lived in this simulation with some of the numbers he's hitting. This player is absolutely fantastic, worth checking out. He's good enough for the elite level teams. Obviously not going to start for a team like Real Madrid straight away, but for the sake of the simulation, we've given him game time, and you can now see exactly what he can do. I'm going to give Vasco here a 9.5 out of 10. I think he's a phenomenal talent. He'll do so well for you. And remember, I didn't even have the Portuguese divisions loaded, and he was still in my save, so hopefully he'll be in yours as well. Vasco Souza, check him out, put a scout on him, and hopefully you'll pick yourself up an absolute gem. I've been Jake for FM Scout. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.